share with me and get to know me.
Working within it so that you can trust
You got to
them.
be able to produce things. And I'll tell you why that production is so important. But before we go there, how do you use those two pieces of equipment? And
Success is not necessarily financial, but success is when you feel fulfilled in what you're doing. And then
to other women, they need to know their value, their worth.
But I believe everything that you put your mind to and you achieve, it's success.
Give us all the stuff.
Okay, I'll answer all 16 of those questions right now. I started in the music business at Sony while I was still...
Welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is going to be so good. Today's guest is known across the globe as the Sales Energizer, Dan Jourdan, or the Deej. He's a true salesman and prospector who lives and loves this sales game. Dan's goal is to encourage salespeople and people who don't even realize that they're salespeople to adopt the self-employed, anything can be done, Eastern European immigrant mindset to get more customers, earn more profit so they can have a real lifestyle of freedom. Dan is the author of 3 books, including the bestseller, Sales Proverbs, and he has coached, mentored, and helped thousands of salespeople worldwide on how to live a profitable sales life through his programs and keynote speeches. Y'all, put your hands together for Dan Jourdan.
There you go. Yeah. You know, I'm digging the whole applause things, and it's very apropos because a lot of times you've done speaking before, right? You've been on stage before. Yeah. So they announce you. It's awesome. You know, everybody, they give you this big rev up, and you walk up on the stage, and they're applauding, and then it just stops. There is nothing more silent than the moment before you start speaking on those stages when that happens. I'm telling you, it's like I wish we had crickets. I mean, even crickets would be a noise up there. Right, you look awesome, Renee Hastings. Look at you. You're so pretty.
Thank you so much, Dan Jourdan. I appreciate you, and I see why you're so good in sales.
Well, one of the benefits of getting gray or white hair is that you're able to tell women that they're pretty without them thinking you're hitting on them. You know, so it's out and about. No, and it's true. One of the things that not salespeople, but any people, and pretty much everyone's a salesperson. We can get into that, but you know, step one is make a first good impression. And what's better than finding something nice about somebody else and just letting them know it? And I do it on the phone. You see, you didn't even have to ask a question. I'm just going to keep on going.
Go ahead.
Even on the phone, if you're on the phone with somebody and you're talking with them and you say this, if you don't get anything else from this podcast, take this one. Ask for permission to give somebody a compliment. And so I would say, like, I'm on the phone with you. I'm like, hey, Renee, thank you for all this stuff. Hey, is it okay if I give you a compliment?
Yes, absolutely.
You see, nobody says no to that. Right? 0 people in the planet will say no to that. And then just say, you know what? I just got to appreciate you have a really soothing, nice voice. And I called a lot of people today, so I just want to let you know that. Every single person says, you know what? You made my day. Aww. And they'll go home at night and talk about you at the dinner table. And And you got a better opportunity to make a sale with someone that kind of likes you than otherwise. So there's your first tip of the day. What do you think of that, Renee Hastings? Just throwing it out.
What great advice. But yeah, who can say no to, can I give you a compliment? Everyone wants to hear compliments. So,
and say it sincerely. Say it sincerely. You know, you have to struggle with it. And you know, there's a fine line between acting and selling. I think the difference is actors have a script, but it's the same thing other than that. But so you got to work on that. So, you know, 90% of sales is tone and cadence versus the actual words that you say. And so you can't just say, hey, can I give you a hot compliment? You can struggle with it. Say, hey, Renee, is it okay if I give you a compliment? You know, and all of a sudden it's just so sincere just by adjusting a little bit. And that's the difference between, you know, a $30,000 salesperson and a $300,000 salesperson. It's just tone and cadence.
Right. And the cadence, and when you say cadence, I think of timing. Like if a comedian is telling a joke and the timing isn't right, then it just completely throws off the whole joke, right? So I totally get it. The cadence is how you present it. It's like,
so you got a joke for me? You're setting me up for a joke.
No.
So let me tell you, my dad, immigrant from France, and you know, never really went to school, never had you know, a real education, you know, basic stuff of the times. Anyhow, so he when he came here, so the advice that he gave me was always really good. He said, Danny, in this country, you need two things. And I said, what's that? Okay. He says, you need to have two jokes that you could bring out anytime. You need to have two songs that you could sing from the beginning to the end. National anthem's a good one. He said, you need to have two instruments that you could play just a little. And if you can juggle, that's good too. But you have those type of, like, you know, social skills, and you can go to any party and they don't know it's your whole repertoire. I mean, they don't know that's all you got. They think it's the whole thing, but you got something you could relate to people. So here's the joke. All right. So this guy walks into a psychiatrist's office. He's wearing nothing but saran wrap. And the psychiatrist takes one look at him and says, you know, I can clearly see your nuts. Stick with me. They're coming fast.
Oh my gosh. Dan Jourdan. Oh, that is so funny. And I hope we don't get cut off the air. You are so funny. Okay, that's a good joke.
Yeah, stick with me. Yeah, they go. And you know, it's good enough that everybody gets it. And so you could tell it again.
That is
I wonder if May. I wonder if May.
I can get myself together right now.
I wonder if May, the producer, is laughing. You never can tell.
I'm sure she's like, oh my gosh, holding her chest. Oh my word, what is gonna come out? Chris warned me. He's in the chat. He said, wow. But thank you, Dan, for that joke to help get us started on today's show.
Yes.
So let me quickly move on. So how did you get started on this journey, first of all? And you got to tell us along the way where this nickname, the Sales Energizer, came from.
Oh, you know, I'll tell you along the way, but I mean, that's the easiest part of it. But you know, you gotta, here's the thing. It's really the Deej. So when I was in high school, you know, my high school was different. It was like you went to elementary school and then you went to junior high, which was 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then you went to high school, which was 10th, 11th, and 12th, and that's where all the high schools got together, and all the junior highs got together and went into the high school. And so when we got into high school, you know, I was not like I was a big shot, but you know, at least people knew me in the junior high and stuff. I went to high school. You know, I was Danny Jourdan, but there was another kid in high school, Danny Diano, and I'm from New Jersey, and he's like, you know, tall, good looking, muscles, you know, with the T's and, you know, all that stuff. And anyway, his name was Danny. So he kept his name Danny. And, you know, we were friends. So I got my initials, which were DJ. And then DJ just turned into Deej and all that stuff. But I realized something. I realized that, I didn't have really the skill. I wasn't really I was athletic, but not, I wasn't the best guy in the team. I was, I was pretty good at school, but I wasn't the best guy in school. And I needed to find my place. And so I figured early on I could make people laugh. And so that was kind of my thing. But when you're in the sports arena and you're with everybody else and you're kind of in the zone, I always remembered, like, sometimes everything goes right, and in sales, sometimes everything's going right. Sometimes in life, everything's going, you're getting all the green lights. And when you're in the zone like that, you don't want to get out. And so I wanted to encapsulate that. So I created an alter ego, and the alter ego is the Deej. And so the last 100 yards of the race, that's not me. That's the Deej. When you're meeting with that big client, when you're getting pumped up, that's not me. That's the Deej. And the Deej can do things that Danny Jourdan could never do. And so, I think everybody kind of needs that alter ego. And so I've always known that you got to brand yourself. And people out there, I think salespeople, put my ears back in. Salespeople think that they're selling a product or a service, but in actuality, they're not. It's themselves. They're selling themselves, or people are buying them. And more specifically, the act of sales is the transfer of energy. And I knew early on that with I have kind of a natural positive disposition. Not that I don't ever get non-happy. It's just that's my. I'm prone to be happy, waking up happy versus the opposite, and enthusiastic and energetic. And I realized that people crave that. People need it. And so I realized that energy was what was getting me what I was getting me. And so I'm in sales. So I just turned it into the sales Energizer. That was a long-winded answer to a very short question.
But I love it, though. I love it. It totally makes sense. And people need energy. People need to feel alive. And when they wake up to your sales Energizer moments, I'm telling you, that is one of the best ways to start the day. The absolute best ways, because you're out there, whether you're on your deck or you're in the roam offices, or no matter where you are, it's like you bring it. You completely bring the energy. You bring the fire. And it's like, yes, I'm ready to start this day because Dan got me started. The Deej got me started.
Well, and there's two things, and there's pressure on me to do it now because many people, reply to me and say things like that, and I'm grateful for that pressure. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. But here's something that everybody needs to know. Anybody who's watching, or anybody who's in sales or trying to get something, it's about a 2.5 minute video that I make, and hell, I can do anything for 2.5 minutes. I mean, you don't know what's happened before that. You don't know what's happening after that. I could be just a lump on a log or sleep the rest of the day. But for 2.5 minutes, baby, I am on fire. I am the Deej. I am on fire. And so your customers deserve that. They don't need to know about all the other garbage that's going on in your life, and that you're tired and that your back hurts and that you just lost a big deal or something unusual health wise happened or whatever. They don't need to know all that. It's none of their business. You don't want to burden them with all that. All they know is when you're in front of them, like right now you're getting the Deej. It ain't no damn. And it doesn't just come up. Like I work on this. I make myself get it. Before I get on, I say my little chant. I say, I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. I'm a force for good. I'm a force for God. I set the standard. I defy the odds. I stand up. I take charge. I win. And then I go on camera. I'm not going to give you a second-rate chance, to meet, who I am and what we can do here. We got to make this your best show ever, Renee Hastings.
That's right, Dan Jourdan. And I know that you're the one to bring it. I love it. Love it.
But again, I want to tell the individual and the self-employed person and the businessman, you're in control of that.
Yeah.
There's one line in there that it speaks to me louder than any of the others. And it is, I make the news. I don't watch the news. And that's just so key. For me, it's like either you're going to let the environment affect you or you're going to affect it.
That part.
And so, take that for what it's worth, Renee Hastings. I know you have a question or two. If not, I'll just keep going.
No, that'll preach. I love that. I love that. And we've got some folks in the comment who are truly enjoying the show as well. Thanks you, Chris Stone, for joining us. He said that he knew
good old Chris Stone.
He only had to spend 20 minutes with us to know that he wanted to work with us. And it was on your show that we met. And I was so grateful for that day. You know how they say nothing happens by accident. Everything happens for a reason. And you invited me to be on your show. It was the best time of my entire life, even though it was like, I think, my very first podcast show invitation.
Oh,
and
really?
so you made me feel so comfortable. Chris made me feel so comfortable. And even though my earrings were dangling, I think, in the microphone or some nonsense was going on, you guys just completely went with it. And it was an amazing experience. And now we all get to work together.
Good old ear. You were known for years as the earring dangler. That's right. Yeah, is the dangler coming on again? That's
well, hey, you take every lesson and you apply it and like, okay, let's not do that again. So notice there are no dangly earrings. We got these big earrings, but no.
Those are some big earrings. You could light those things on fire and have poodles. I mean, they're just that's right. You got that whole thing.
That's awesome. I love it. Yes, I do have a question in here somewhere. So, what is the best sales advice that you've received? And how has it shaped your career? Besides all the jokes, having the two jokes and the two instruments and all of that, what is the other? Which was great, by the way. And I think your dad sounds like an amazing guy.
Good old Papa. Yeah, good old Papa. Well, the sales is there's two parts to sales. There's the act of sales, presenting and closing and follow up and all that stuff. And the other part is prospecting. And they're two different technologies for sales. The best lesson I ever learned is that don't when people are prospecting, that's no place to sell. That's no place to talk about your product. What I like people to figure out is that prospecting is like, picture it like a billboard. And if there's you're driving down the highway and you see a big sign there and it says, a $5 foot long tuna fish sandwich, but it's 7:30 in the morning. And so you don't want that tuna fish sandwich, or, it could be a big steak and you're a vegetarian. Well, you don't want it. There's no price. They're not going to lower the price enough on a steak for you to buy it if you're a vegetarian. It's no place to sell. What a prospecting is just to get attention and to see if it's something that they want. And that's all. And like your business, you have a virtual assistant company. Is that correct? Or outsourcing company?
Yes, I do. I have a virtual assistant service.
Yeah. And now if all things were going great and you had, let's say 100 clients, and you may have 100 clients already, but let's say you have 100 clients right now. Things are rocking and rolling. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm doing pretty good at 100. Wouldn't you be happy if you're doing pretty good at 100 clients? I mean, that's a good business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good business, right? So in Atlanta, where we are right now, there's like, let's say 8 million people. There's 8 million people. You have 100. That means that like 7,900,000 I'm not going to do the math right now. They don't want the steak. They don't want the Subway sandwich, but it's okay. You're doing fine with your 100, right? So it's more than likely when you're prospecting that you're going to meet people that don't want what you have and don't like it, which is fine. See you later, potato. We're going to talk to the next person. So the biggest challenge that people have in sales is they start selling to those who are unqualified, who don't want it. 3 things you need to have a qualified prospect. They need to have a want or a need. That's the first one. They need to have decision-making ability. That's the second one. And they need to have money. If they don't have if they don't have one of those things, they're not a prospect.
True.
I don't want it. And so that's the best lesson I learned, to do that. And step number 2 is to very quickly be able to discern whether or not somebody is a prospect without insulting or making anybody feel bad. There are times when I'm on the phone that I meet somebody who's nice and all that stuff, but they just don't need it. And I'll actually say that. I'll say, hey, I want to tell you, you're a really great guy, but you are the worst prospect I could have come up with. You're a terrible prospect. You're a terrible prospect, but a really good guy. And they laugh, and we move on, and see you later, potato. So,
Wow.
That's it. Know when to sell and know when not to.
Exactly. It's almost like, was it Kenny Rogers who said, know when to hold them and know when to fold them?
Yes.
Yes.
See, if Chris Stone was here, we'd be singing. You got to know when to hold, know when to fold. What's that? Oh, know when to walk away, know when to run. You better count. That's it. All right, there we go. I get it.
Table. Okay. All right. We're done. So that is awesome. Yeah. So great advice. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know who's a good prospect, and know when to say, look, we're done. This isn't working. This isn't a good fit.
So I learned most of the skills that I learned in sales is when I took an 8-month hitchhiking trip around the country, and I took no money, and I just got jobs along the way. And the idea was just to meet as many people. I didn't have a schedule. I didn't know what I was going to do. Or where I was going to go. I just knew I had a thumb, and I was just going to go, and a backpack, and I was going to go. And I learned something very quickly, and that is that there's a very fine line between a hitchhiker and just some bum on the side of the road with his thumb hanging out. I mean, and the difference is you got to get picked up. That's a successful sale as a hitchhiker, getting picked up. And on that trip, I learned how to be attractive enough or give enough value for someone to want to stop and pick me up. And so that aligns with prospecting completely. When you do get a ride and you do with somebody in the car, it's like you can't just sit there and be quiet. When you do get a prospect and you're in front of a customer, you can't just sit on the chair and just show your slides or whatever you're going to do. What I learned quickly when I'm in the car, that the only reason why they picked me up, they want to hear some stories. They want to hear about, how good they are, that most people don't pick me up. Thank goodness I finally met a good person here who would do this. You wouldn't believe the last ride I had, and they want to hear that story. Where have you been? They want to hear all that. They want to be able to go home and at the dinner table tell their family how good they are because they picked up a nice guy on the side of the road, and they got all these stories, and they're going to laugh, and he can carry that for the rest of, I say he, because very few women pick me up, can carry that with him for the rest of his life. And when you're in sales and you're on a presentation, baby, you want to make that the best part of their day. You want them to go home and say, I met somebody today. We may or may not do business, but I'm sure we're going to be friends. I'm sure there'll be some sort of referral opportunities. I'm sure there'll be something. You want to, it's more important to be memorable than even relevant in their life.
Yes. Oh, I love that. It's more important to be memorable because everything doesn't end in a sale, especially on the first call. You know what I mean? Especially if you're just prospecting, which you said is very different than doing a sales call. When you're prospecting, you're just getting to know the people. But when you're actually going back in after some time and you have developed this relationship, you've been memorable. So they remember who you are when you call back.
Yes, and there's nothing that makes you feel better. I've been told I have a distinctive voice But I think it's, again, I think it just goes back to the energy, but people tend to remember it. But every call, a sale is made. On a prospecting call, just getting a decision, no, we don't need it. That's a sale. Now I can move on to the next thing. And even if someone says no, that's a successful sale.
Wait, hold on. Explain.
Because your goal on any a qualified prospect is those three things that we said before. Qualified prospect is somebody who has a need or a want, has decision-making ability, and has money. Right? So if you find out on the call that they don't have one of those things, and the one that most people don't have is decision-making ability. They can't make a decision, and if you realize that and you say, listen, I totally appreciate, you want it. If you say yes to me, we'll move forward. If you say no to me, we'll move forward in a different way. The third thing you could say is, I need to think about it. All I ask is that you don't choose option number 3. If you say I need to think about it, I'll just take that as a no. Fair enough? And it forces them to get into that. I want somebody to say no. The worst thing in the world is not to lose a sale. The worst thing in the world is to take 9 flipping months to lose the sale. You want to get a decision.
Yes, exactly. So it's important. So even if they say no, and especially if they're like, oh, they're not the decision maker, then it's like you still have an opportunity with the decision maker.
Yeah. Well, listen, every single day, Renee Hastings, I love your name, by the way. You can't just say Renee.
Yes, you always say the whole thing. Cracks me up every time.
Every single day, Renee Hastings, somebody's born, somebody dies, someone gets a car, someone gets into an accident, someone gets divorced, someone gets married, someone has a birthday, someone, has a child. Did I say have a baby yet? Someone has a baby. Every single day, something happens. And so someone says no to you right now, like Chris Stone says, got it. I appreciate it. Listen, we're still friends. It's okay to say no to me. Best friends forever. I got no problem with it. I can't tell you how many times people come back to you because of that. It's like every time. Hey, listen, I know we're not going to do business. Let's link in together on LinkedIn. And, and if by the way, the way to rekindle something that said no to you is like you've had a whole conversation with them. You know their business now. You know what's going on with them. Now, a month and a half later, you're going to meet somebody else that could use that type of business. You give them a lead. You give them a referral and watch how quickly you get business.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you focus on helping other people, then the business will come. That's what that's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, but it's not just, and I agree with you totally, and I'm not trying to one-up you, but this is, it's the old Zig Ziglar thing saying, if you want to get what you want, help enough other people get what they want. But it's such an easy thing to say, but it takes time to do it. And so a lot of times you think, oh, that would be a good referral for blah, blah, blah. And then it just goes by the wayside and you never get around. And, writing an introduction, an email is a pain in the tuchus, which is why we need companies like your company, Renee Hastings, to be able to call someone on the phone, say, hey, I just met them. They'd be a good lead for what was that person's name? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. For that person's name, blah, blah, blah. Can you go ahead and make an introductory email and just send it out? See you later, potato. Boom, done. It's out of my brain and it's done.
Absolutely.
The difference. What did I say earlier? I said 90% is that, and I said the difference is that. I have a ton of 90% and a ton of the one difference is. So, I'm like the guy who makes up percentages. Like it's like 68% of all the numbers and statistics are completely made up, including that one. And so, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah,
so we're talking about the email, the leads, and so you have to be intentional about making the referrals.
Yes, but for the salesperson who wants to succeed, if you want to increase your production and increase your outcomes, double them. It's really one thing, and that is get Renee Hastings and get a virtual assistant and get that person to do it for you, because you just won't do. It used to be when I had a job as a stockbroker. I started as a cold caller for somebody else, and then they got licensed, and then was with Smith Barney. And when I got hired on with a real company with Smith Barney, and back then you would like call people and you'd write them letters and do all that stuff. But because you had to do all those manual things, they gave you an assistant, a sales assistant. Mine was Cassandra, and Cassandra worked for 3 or 4 of us. And you would give her, hey, here's a lead, and she'd send out a letter and come back, and she would do all this stuff for you. But then, email happened, and then all these softwares happened, and everybody had a CRM. You could do it yourself, and you keep track of your appointments. And they're like, what do we need Cassandra for anymore? And so Cassandra went away, and now, 20 years later, there is 1,000 very efficient and very wonderful CRMs and programs and applications and automations and sequences and AI telling you, and easy email writing and social media and all these things that the salesperson needs to do to remain relevant. It's become impossible for them to do all that and still have front-facing business with the customer. So what I suggest, and anybody who's looking to hire salespeople or wants commission-only salespeople, fine. But if somebody's getting paid $5,000 a month plus commission, go ahead and pay them $3,000 a month. Take $2,000 a month and give it to a company like Renee Hastings to give that person their own personal sales assistant. That person will thank you for it, for paying them less, and they will double and triple and quadruple their outcomes. It's the best thing you could do for your salespeople. And if you're a salesperson yourself, pony up the money. Tell your boss, I don't want $7,000 a month. I want $5,000 a month. I want you to spend the rest with Renee Hastings and let me succeed.
That's
now
right.
I am off my soapbox.
Well, thank you for that glowing endorsement. I totally appreciate it, because yes, at Executive Help Now, that's what we do. We take those things off your plate. As a busy salesperson, you just want to be out there making the connections, finding the prospects, and then being able to say to someone else, hey, follow this up for me. Hey, follow this up for me. That's what we do all day. We just follow
treat yourself like it's your own business. It's a self-employed nation. You are an island amongst yourself. You're the company that's paying you the salary and commission is just another income source for you. And you need to do everything for yourself to build your own brand. Very difficult to do that. You want to get out. You want to be the face of your company. You want to be out there at these networking events. You want to, follow up with people. You want to stop in at your customers for no reason. You want to just get in there and do all that, knowing that the back office stuff is going to take place. And when you go to a convention or you meet a ton of people and you get a bunch of cards, what do you do with it? It goes into your drawer, and every once in a while you'll look at it and you feel like an idiot, and then you start to feel guilty, and then you throw it away and you hope nobody watches. What you do is you take all those, you take a picture of it, you send it to someone like Renee Hastings or your virtual assistant that takes care of it. They put it all into your CRM. They set up the program of you to follow up with them. They'll link in with all the people on LinkedIn. They'll start engaging with those people, all while you're outside doing more networking events and conventions and getting more cards. And then calls start coming in, and you're just there to do that which you're best at, which is that front-facing selling and servicing your clients.
Absolutely, 100%. And Chris says that from Cast Ahead, investing in your business with virtual staff is the best way to invest in yourself. So it frees you up to do what you love to do and that you're best at. Couldn't have said it better. 100%.
Well, you didn't have to say it better. That's what you got me for.
That's right. That's what I got you for, Dan. Dan Jourdan. I love it. And working with Cast Ahead, we just love working with them and as well as all of our clients to lighten their load so that they can focus on the things that they're amazing at. They're so good at, but they got all this stuff that needs to be done. So it's like almost multiplying, like duplicating themselves, increase, like you said, doubling their effort.
It's more than, and I agree. And I think it's, but in this scenario, because assistants can do so much more. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = at least 3, maybe 4. And And the reason is someone like myself. So I'm terribly dyslexic, and I can't. And how it manifests in me is that if something's like in school, if like something's on the board there, I'm looking at a board. If something's on a board and I'm supposed to transpose it to my paper, somewhere it gets lost in my brain. It's different. It's just gone. And so in this case, if I'm like typing something, looking there and typing it here, and it causes me such anxiety. I can't tell you. It'll take me an hour. It'll take me an hour to do it. And the reason is, and then I spell their email wrong 3 different ways. And then I start getting more frustrated, and then it's nightmarish. Or I take out my phone like this, and I said, and I make a recording. I send a text to Ginger. I have a Ginger, Renee Hastings, and I send a text to Ginger, and I say, please send an introductory email from Renee to Chris Stone about this and this and that, and then it's done.
Yes,
and then it's done.
Yes,
and it's you have no idea. It'll save marriages. It'll save lives. It'll say, it'll get you on vacation. It'll do the whole shebang. You just got to figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at. So what I tell people to do when we're first starting an engagement, and I do sales coaching and training, and I work with companies, my tagline is any and all things legal to get you more customers. And we work with clients on the inside out. A lot of times it's funny. A lot of times people think they need marketing help, but they can't close worth a squat. And a lot of people are really good at presentations, but they can't figure out how to fill the seats or bring in the leads. Anyhow, the first thing that I do, I completely forgot my train of thought. What was I talking about? I do this. I do this in
about closing and how people bring in the people, but they can't really close them.
Yeah, it was the thing before that. That line was a tangent. You got to stick with me on the original stuff.
Talking about following up and Ginger. We were talking about Ginger and her sending out the letters for you.
Yeah. So the first, thank you. Yeah, you see that? All right. Was that you, or was May the producer typing something?
I remember my own self.
Oh, so you're actually listening. That's one of the things. Active listening. No, the first thing you want to do is take down a piece of paper and write down in one column all the things that you're doing throughout your day that you think you'd be better served doing something else, that it's not worth your time to do that, but you're doing it anyway because you don't have it. And then the second line, write all the things that you're not doing because you're spending the time doing those other things over there. And once you have that list, you take that list and you package it all together, and you find somebody and you say, can you do this?
Yeah.
And they do that stuff for you. And it's a big thing. One of the challenges that people have, most salespeople have, is we're trained to do everything. We're expected to do everything. We're expected to do all those things. Your own marketing, your own branding, your own setting up your own funnels, having your own website, making your own videos, doing your own content, editing your own content. We're expected to do all those things. And prospect and be customers and the whole thing. And you wonder why people get burnt out for that whole thing when those are not your skill sets.
Right. It's like that's not your jam. Your jam is going out there selling.
It's like I do a video every day, and but if I were tasked to write a script for my video and then do it I would never do it. I just wouldn't do it. My head doesn't work that way. I can't do that. So like some people say, some people ask me, hey, I like your videos. Can you write a script and refer all the things? No, that's what ChatGPT is for. I can't do that. What I do. It has
to come from inside. It has to be natural. It's not something that you can just script out and just say. This has to be honest from the heart kind of stuff.
Right. And you have to find the VA that can speak to you. That can work with your program. Because if someone says, tell me what to do, I'm not with you. I can give you outcomes. This is what I want. And if you can figure that out, then I'm good with almost anything you do. It's like, so my wife is one of those people who, let's go back to the video and then remind me to talk about my wife. So the video, what I do is I press play.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to say. I press play, and then we'll see what comes out. And it's just like this podcast, by the way. You asked me earlier if you wanted to send me some questions. I'm like, no, I don't want questions. You haven't even given any of them, and I'm still. What are we? We're 40 minutes in. I don't even know what the heck.
I may have asked one.
So my wife is one of those people that wants me. All I want is a turkey sandwich with cheese. You know, can I get a turkey sandwich with cheese? Sure. And so I'd be happy with anything. Two slices of turkey, some cheese, and bread, and that's it. I mean, very grateful. It's the greatest thing ever. How many slices of turkey? 2 slices of turkey. Okay, good. What kind of cheese did you want? Cheddar or Munster? I want cheddar. Okay, good. I'll have cheddar. What kind of bread? I want any kind of bread. I want any kind of bread there. Okay. Do you want it toasted? And you think just think of all the things that have toast. Oh, toasted. Lettuce and tomato. Yes, lettuce and tomato. The big tomatoes, like one big slice, or do you want me to slice the sandwich? Yes, just slice the sandwich. Yeah, horizontal or diagonal. So I could never give somebody directions like that.
I love how attentive your wife is. I mean, she takes into all the things, and takes into consideration all the factors that could make an amazing sandwich for your enjoyment.
Yes, it takes an hour, but I would have liked it if it was no bread or anything. Just make
it a wrap.
That's right.
I love it. Love it. So, Dan, in your experience, what qualities will make a salesperson stand out from other salespeople? Like, how do there's salespeople everywhere. What makes one better than another? And, it could be the best in their game.
This has changed as I've gotten older, and like I said earlier, because like little white hair, you're able to tell women that they're pretty. And so, and all that you're able to do because you don't care anymore about stuff like that. And so I probably wouldn't have said this many years ago, but man, you really truly need to love people. It's that simple. Love and want to serve people. I mean, and that's all that is. If you're not putting the chair away after you sit down and at the restaurant, if you're not setting up your place, if you're not trying to make things easier for your waiter, if you're not noticing when other people need even mild help, if you don't open the door for people, if you feel good by people saying thank you to you, that's probably the best thing. You really just you want to serve, because listen, people hate, as Jeffrey Gitomer says, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. And ultimately people are buying you. People buy for 4 reasons. They buy because they should I do the sell or the buy? I'm going to do the buy. I'm just thinking people will buy from you, and the people sell. Well, listen, people buy for 4 reasons, and they buy first because they like you.
Mm-hmm.
They trust you.
They trust you.
By the way, which one do you think is more important, like or trust?
Trust.
Yeah, trust. Yeah, most people say trust. Let me ask you something, Renee Hastings. Have you ever gone out on a second date? Not a first date, a second date with someone that you didn't like at all, but you trusted them? No, it's like. It starts with like. Okay. It very quickly goes to trust.
Okay.
But if they don't like you, your foot's not in the door. You don't stand a chance. You got to be likable.
Right.
And people who are likable are those who serve, or those who like people who like me. I automatically like them. And if you like people, you have a better chance of them liking you, and then you can move to the other part of it. And so if you want to know the other 2, it's like, trust, believe. So they believe you. That's where your credibility, your resume comes in, and all that plays. Mm-hmm. By the way, people mostly lead with number 3. People lead with, "Hey, look how great I am. Here's my resume. Here's what we do. We've been in business for 300 years. We have, good-looking people, and we've done this for them and them and them." That's number 3. You know, if they don't like you and they don't trust you yet, that's just anywhere. And then lastly, they'll have a desire to do business with you, and that's when they're kind of looking for a reason to buy. Like when you stop your car and you buy lemonade from 2 girls on the side of the road,
Right.
and you're not even thirsty. You know, you just do it because you want to do. You like them, you know? And so,
Right.
yeah, that was another long-winded answer to a question. But, yeah, you got to love people and love serving people.
Yeah, I think that is so important. I couldn't agree more. I'm sure I've said that before. And I can't agree more because you already said it.
That's right.
But so to recap, people buy from people that they like, that they trust, that they believe, and that they have a desire to buy. Just plain, pure, and simple. They have a desire.
A desire to do business with, you know. Right. And so as a salesman, you have to have 4 beliefs. So you have to have the belief in your product, the belief in your company, that it's the best company out there, the belief in yourself, believe that your company can service them properly, that your company can service them properly. And then the final belief is the belief that your prospect or your customer in the entire planet can't get this product from you, that anywhere else, that getting this product from you is a better decision for them to make than from anybody else. Because we don't have, it's not like, there's anything unique anymore. And if it is unique, it's only for about 22 seconds. Right. And so it's like, not someone's going to come to your door and say insurance, and you're going to be like, what the heck? Insurance? Honey, come here. You gotta see this. It's nothing surprises people anymore. But to buy insurance from you is a whole different experience. Right.
So
you gotta have that belief.
Right. And that shows, I think, in how you present the information, the confidence that you have when you're sharing the information. People can see through anyone who's trying to sell something that they don't believe in. You know? It's so important
especially in like more in-home sales, roofing sales or kitchens or handyman or things like that. When you're selling to people's homes, a lot of times, a bathroom is a bathroom. You can make a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Everything's going to cost the same. It's the salesperson. The most important part of the sale is always the salesperson.
Agreed. I totally agree. And sometimes people will sell you on something and you totally believe them, and then they actually come and show up and they're like a whole nother piece of nonsense. But
yes, there's something to do. That's why video is key right now. Everybody needs to be using video. When you send like the confirmation email, send a little video of yourself. Hey, this is the person I'll be coming out, or this is me. I'll be there. Hopefully, I'll look the same when I get there. I might shave my beard. I forgot to shave this morning. I need a haircut, and I forgot to shave. I actually need 2 haircuts.
But you still look amazing. How do you even work that?
Well, and then the back of my neck, and it itches over there. I got to get that thing done. I've just been busy today doing all that hair. I went to get a haircut the other day, and my lady, I don't know her name, but she has very soft hands. And so I said, "Where's the lady with the soft hands?" And they're like, "Who do you mean, the lady with?" And I said, "She used to sit over there." And she goes, "Oh yeah, everybody always says about her hands." So anyway, I found the other place that she went to. And I said, "Where's the lady with the soft hands?" And they're like, "We have no idea what you're talking about," because she just started there, whatever.
Right.
Anyway, her name is Nikki, by the way. I found out her name is Nikki.
Glad you found out her name.
And so, but I think she works on Saturday, but I don't know if I can do it on Saturday. But anyway, so this is more personal.
Follow her to where she went, though.
What? It was far.
Follow her where she went. That's loyalty.
She's one of those people that just loves what she does. It's like, my father-in-law, 89, great guy, still builds he's like a woodworking kind of dude. And he he like you can't go to Home Depot. You walk down the lumber aisle of Home Depot and he's like touching the wood, and he's like, he just loves the scent and the smell. He's just, anyway, she's like that with your hair. So she'll go on one side to the other side, and she'll just massage you along the way, and she's very soft hands, very nice.
She's perfected the art of keeping her clients happy and engaged.
Yeah, so I go from East Cobb all the way to, she's like off of like Norcross, and I know it's crazy.
Wow, and you probably pass 100 barbershops between where you live and where she is, but it doesn't matter because that's your person.
Yeah, that's it. I finally learned her name.
Yeah, well, and thank you. And
soft hands.
Said hello.
I knew this other girl, long neck, once. I called her long neck for years. I still never knew her name. This one was soft hands. That's long neck. She had a very long neck.
That's one way
I like things like that because it's in sales you want to be very clear with things, and so when you can find something really clear, like a lead generator. I know exactly what do you do. Oh, I'm a lead generator. I know exactly what you do. It's like fireplace. It's a place for fire. That's like, for me, that's the perfect word. It's a fireplace.
Right, exactly. I love it.
When I build scripts for people and I'm like, what do you do? That's my example. I go, you know what a fireplace is? And they go, yeah, it's a place for fire. I go, I want your description of your company to be that clear that you could just say the two words. Everybody knows what you do. Like for you, it would be the coolest.
The coolest, a place for cool.
Yeah, you are. If someone had to describe you, Renee Hastings, it would be that.
The coolest. I love it. I take it. I'm receiving it. So Dan, we are almost out of time. I cannot believe an hour almost has already gone by. Yes. And you got to leave early, so for your appointment, but it's okay. I totally appreciate the time and the valuable nuggets that you've shared with us today. But I don't want people to leave without knowing what you've got coming down the pike, what's going on in your world, and how they can stay in touch with you if they want more personal, one-on-one sales energizer time.
Yeah, listen, I tell everybody, what you see is what you get. Go ahead, and I'm very accessible. You can go to the website, and my email's on there, my cell phone's on there. Go to LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to engage with you there. I tell everybody, I'll give everybody 15 minutes. I'll give everybody 15 minutes, figure out a way. I'm sure I got a calendar somewhere on there. Hey, there's Chris Stone produced videos. By the way, when you go to the YouTube page, go to see where it says home, go to the video part and click there, and there's a million other videos. And subscribe. I need more subscriptions on YouTube. Everybody's always trying to hit me up to do certain, to do stuff. I don't know. I might need Renee Hastings to do something on YouTube to get me more followers. Anyhow, subscriptions there. But I love people. I love sales. I love to talk, and I'm here for you.
Thank you, Dan. You are an absolute amazing guest to have on the show. And I can't believe we met. I think, Dan, we met probably back in 2007 or 8. And you left such an impression on me. I think we were at a BNI meeting in Dunwoody, and you were filling in for somebody else who couldn't show up that day. And from that day, we have stayed in touch. We've stayed in communication. You have been one of the people who've been so instrumental in me and deciding that we were going to start this business and do this business and do our absolute best at it. And I am so grateful to you for all of the coaching and mentoring and all of the tremendous impact that you've had on my life personally. So thank you. I can't let you get off this show without me telling you that.
That's awfully sweet. Yeah, my wife always says, you're really good at helping other people get rich. Bring it home. No, but I appreciate it. I live for that. And so I
Well,
appreciate that very much. I do that. I mean that sincerely.
well, I appreciate you, and I truly appreciate your time and all of the great words of wisdom. And I wish I had a few more minutes just to ask one more question. I know we already got all your socials and all that, but one of the things I really want to impress upon people is that even if they get a no, going back to the beginning part of this conversation, if they get a no in sales, it's okay. A no is still a yes in a different form. It's kind of like what it sounds like you said.
Yeah, I know. I know it moves the sale in a different direction, but you're still in.
Yeah, you're still in because they like you, and so that gives you time to.
Yeah, and sometimes the no is sometimes the no is they don't have the money, so that's fine too.
Yeah.
You don't have the money. That makes complete sense.
Absolutely,
You're not a customer.
That's right. So not yet.
All right. Well, I wish nothing but good things to happen to you all for the rest of your life. Eat well, live long, and prosper. Go get them today.
Thank you, Dan. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.